there, everybody. Welcome back to the Playing Trains of Comic Books channel. My name's Matt, and today we're going to review Step by Bloody Step number 1. But before we get into that, if you guys wouldn't mind sharing, subscribing, commenting, it really helps me out and lets me know what you guys want to see more of. So, with that being said, let's get straight into it. All right, we got the cover here for Step by Bloody Step number 1. It is an image book, and it is by Spurrier, Bergara, and Lopez. And before we start, guys, just so you know, this book doesn't have any words in it. So it is all pictures. And we see on the first page here, it's freezing outside, and there is a little girl who is balled up. She is in the hand of a giant robot. And it seems like this is possibly the home of the little girl, and they are walking away from it as the giant kind of protects her from the elements. So as they walk, it becomes morning, and this area is apparently filled with wolves. So they try to attack to kill the little girl and the robots, and the robot kills all of them with its blade. And when all the wolves are dead, this weird Cyclops Yeti thing comes out and also tries to challenge the robot. So the robot actually has to let down the girl, and she has to sit there naked in the snow while these two fight. The giant robot won the fight, so it makes the little girl a suit of fur to wear to keep her warm. So they continue to walk through the snow landscape until they get to this big open valley. As they're walking in the valley, the little girl stops to look at a puddle of water, and this little thing comes out. And when she bends down to look at it, she tries to actually pull on this thing that comes up, and the giant has to pull her away. And when it does, we see that it was actually attached to this huge monster that lived in the water. And so a monster fight begins. The giant robot is able to cut off the mouth of this monster. And this monster apparently breathes fire because when it gets its mouth cut off, it can just blow fire out of the hole that's left. So the monster and the robot fight, and they eventually fall off this cliff. And when they fall, they end up right next to a village with these people. So the father goes to get his gun to try to protect them from this giant monster. And when he shoots, his gun explodes. It wasn't very well made. But there's a piece of the gun that's like still on fire and sparking. So as the giant monster is facing the family, the robot takes that piece of the gun and I guess shoves it up the monster's ass, and it explodes. So the monster's defeated, but its face and its armor and everything are really, really beaten up. And when the girl goes over to it to check on it, we see that she's bleeding, and the robot like touches her face and gets some blood on its finger, and then it puts its finger in the sand. And before it puts its finger in the sand, there's just nothing growing in this area. It's all kind of deserty and a wasteland a bit. But when her blood touches the sand, all these plants sprout and begin to grow. And that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to spoil any more of this comic. So this comic was interesting. I had some issues with it, mainly just it not having any words. Sometimes I could not understand what was going on, and you definitely have to read a couple pages or panels over again. So I think they were a little bit enamored with their concept here and didn't quite execute this. The art itself isn't bad. Like, I enjoy the style. The problem is I think the panel sizes, or at least what they try to fit in the panels art-wise, because certain pages have tiny panels during a battle or when they're trying to show something off, and I don't know what they're showing me because the detail is just not there. I will say, once the girl and the giant get out of the snowy area, the story takes off more, and it does have like a good cliffhanger, and what happens does make the world more interesting. So I am interested in picking up the next issue just to see what's going to happen, but just go into this knowing there are no words. The panel layouts and panel images are sometimes hard to understand what's going on, so you might have to do some rereading. So I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. Even though it was hard to read, I do want to know what happens next. It was intriguing enough to kind of pull me in, especially by the end. So if you saw anything you like, definitely go pick it up at your local comic book store, and we will see you all in the next one.